If there's one truth we know about the Orlando Magic, it is that they are resilient and they are going to fight back, flaws and all. How the Magic's defense fought back to win Game 3. Here at the Kia Center, it's Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is April 26, 2025. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. Of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR, broadcasting this podcast from the Kia Center. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, how the Magic fought back to win Game 3 and force a Game 5 in this series at the very least and give themselves a chance to tie the series against the Boston Celtics. What the Magic did to win Game 3. We're going to get to that coming up here, plus the chaos at the end and how the Magic reveled in it. We'll get to that once again coming up here in just a moment. But first, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. No matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload, we truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. You can make Locked On Magic an even bigger part of your day with the Locked On Magic daily newsletter, the one stop for ultimate team and league coverage, delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. So no newsletter tomorrow. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LockedOnNBA at MonarchMoney.com for 50% off your first year. It looked shaky. It looked real shaky for the Orlando Magic. The Magic were cruising along in the game, staying in contact, staying in touch with the Boston Celtics, and then the run happened. Then the Magic went scoreless for 4 or 5 minutes. The Celtics started hitting threes, started finding their groove, started finding their rhythm, and all of a sudden, a close game, a game that the Magic led for most of the way, became a little bit of a rout, became a 10-point lead at the half, became a 32-18 second quarter in Boston's favor. It all seemed to be unraveling, and despite the Magic's best efforts, despite their try-hardiness, despite their intensity, despite all the things for this Magic team, it didn't seem like it was going to be enough. But Jamal Mosley brought the team in the locker room as they're at halftime, and he did something different. He didn't show them any clips. Usually they watch some clips, review some tape, review some film, make some adjustments. But he didn't do any of that. Instead, he told them, you have to be who you are. You have to be yourself. You have to play Orlando Magic basketball. Plain and simple. You have to play Orlando Magic basketball. And that's not necessarily what the Magic weren't doing, but it was too imprecise. It was too loosey-goosey. It was too much. Their offense was carrying them. They were forcing turnovers, but they were not fully playing Magic basketball. If they were going to win, they were, as Wendell Carter said after the game, going to have to, I don't know how to say this because I don't want to get in trouble, but they had to do something. They had to man up. That's essentially what he said, as much as I hate that phrase and hate all of that means. The Magic had to toughen up. If they were going to win, they had to go out on their sword. They had to go out playing their defense. And from the moment that second half started, the Orlando Magic became the more aggressive, more desperate, more intense team, the more physical team. They brought the fight to the Boston Celtics. And where Boston came out and threw heavy punches in games 1 and 2, put the Magic down and made it so difficult for them to come back, in Game 3, the Magic did the opposite. They erased that 10-point deficit within the first 4 or 5 minutes of the quarter. They raced ahead, took the lead into the fourth quarter for the first time in this series. Orlando outscored Boston 24-11. At one point, it was I believe a 16-3 run to take back control over this game, to be perfectly honest. And the Magic put themselves in a position to win. Of course, that alone isn't going to do the job. That alone isn't going to do it. There's still a whole 12 minutes. There's still a whole 12 minutes to play to get done, to get this thing over the finish line. And the Magic did that too, building up as much as a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter and then hanging on for dear life. In the end, Orlando outscored Boston 46-34 in the second half. A true Magic-style game. And the impression, the imprint, the legacy of this game is that the Magic's defense is here. The Magic's defense is for real. The Magic's defense can silence and stop even the best teams in the league. Orlando did switch some things up defensively. It wasn't just like, hey, go out there and play our defense. No, there were some changes. The Magic switched a whole lot less in the second half. They were much more disciplined, chasing the Celtics off the three-point line, forcing them into mid-range jumpers, forcing them into floaters, crowding them when they needed to crowd them. They forced 21 turnovers for 26 points. Orlando did a lot of things they weren't doing in game 1 and 2, making the Celtics uncomfortable. But that's what Magic defense is. That's who the Orlando Magic are. They are a team that makes you uncomfortable. They live in that discomfort. They love to make other teams feel the frustration, feel the pain of playing the Magic. You're going to feel Orlando, for better or for worse. You're going to feel them every time you step on the floor against them. And that wasn't always happening in Boston in games 1 and 2. Certainly, the Magic weren't using their defense to generate offense, which is just so important for this Magic team. We'll get to that a little bit more here in a minute. This is about the Magic's defense. We can talk and lament all this team doesn't have. And believe me, we will get to it when the season ends. We all see it. We all feel it. It's there. It's not going away. But for this team, for what they have, for what they're capable of, the Magic have enough to defend. The Magic have enough to give themselves that fighting chance. And when they play defense like this, they can make the stops to beat a Boston Celtics team. They can make the stops. They can make the play. They know they are capable. They know they are good enough to win these games. It's just about getting the job done. It's about making that extra pass or making that extra dive on the floor, digging out that last rebound that you absolutely need. Boston was winning all those plays in games 1 and 2. They were getting the offensive rebounds. They were getting the turnovers. They were converting off the turnovers. The Magic won those points on the margin on Friday night. They won all of those points to ensure that they're the ones taking this game and heading back to Orlando, or heading back to game four with a chance to tie this series and make this a series at last. It is still a long way to go. At the end of the day, Orlando played some incredible defense, some incredibly tough defense. They played their style and still lost a 12-point lead and still were tied with 2 minutes to go. Still needed to make plays and make shots down the stretch. Still needed that last stop to win the game. This is a very good Boston Celtics team. Orlando can play well, and the Celtics can still beat them. This is still an uphill climb. We cannot ignore that. We cannot pretend otherwise. But the Magic did the job Friday night. They did exactly what they had to do. And that is another key characteristic and another key trait about this team. This game was truly a character-defining game and really just confirmation of character of who this Magic team is and what they're capable of doing. How they found resilience in the chaos and how their stars stepped up to win. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? I know where it's going. It's going to traveling to Boston for Game 5. Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, and travel, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When you start using Monarch, you realize just how much you're spending on food delivery, and now you can budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing your money with a partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without any of the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube or probably here, there's a little bit of chaos going on around me. The Kia Center is currently recording this live from the Kia Center Bowl here at about 11:22 p.m. after the Magic's win over the Celtics. They're flipping this arena over for the Mary J. Blige concert on Saturday. Shout out to the Kia Center Arena Ops crew for getting this arena ready for big concert on Saturday and then flipping it back for the Magic on Sunday. Best arena ops crew that I know at least. So hopefully they hear me shouting that and appreciate that. Chaos, though, is what playoff basketball is. And it comes down, as we've learned over the last 2 years, and certainly this year, it comes down to just a few plays and who wins a 50-50 ball that tilts the game in their favor. There were a lot of those chaos plays. There were a lot of those plays, especially in the final minutes, because the Boston came on hard to make this a game. The Celtics, they're just like the Magic. They're not going to roll over. They're not going to die. They're not going to go away. That's not who they are. That's not who the Magic are. That's not how this series is going to play out. Plain and simple, this series is going to be a brawl. We said this after the Jason Tatum injury. He was back. We'll talk more box score here in a minute. This series is a brawl, a straight up brawl. Two physical teams who want to hit each other, not punch each other. They may get there. They want to hit each other. They want to be physical and fight and grab and hold and steal and squeeze every possession they can out of this game. They want to put you in a vice grip. And where Boston was so much better at getting Orlando to slow down, Orlando was a lot better tonight or Friday night in getting Boston to slow down. But at the end of the day, the Celtics still made this a game. At the end of the day, the Celtics still got the game tied at 91 apiece. Orlando was so scared of the three-point shooting, especially up by 2. They gave away that middle drive, and Derek White had 2 wide-open layups that put the Magic in some jeopardy. But the real hero, the hero of tonight's game, is Franz Wagner. Because with the game tied at 91 apiece, Franz did what he's done all series long. He's got a switch. He screened away to get to Kristaps Porzingis. He squared up on Kristaps Porzingis, drove at him, and made the layup. The first one, a simply brilliant spinning move to get to the basket and hit a layup on the left side of the basket. I still believe he used his right hand, but we'll forgive him for that. To give the Magic the lead. Orlando then gets a stop. They dig out a stop, and Franz sets up Porzingis, goes to the right side this time, hits the layup, and delivers the Magic a 4-point lead. Now, of course, that's not the end of it. With about a minute to go, Wendell Carter had to knock the ball off Derek White to save a possession and steal some time. With the Magic up by 2 late in the game, on the Magic's final offensive possession, with the Magic up by 2 late in the game, Paolo Banchero did exactly what he was supposed to do, waited until the very last moment to take the shot, got to his spot, saw a double team, kicked it out to Franz for 3. Franz missed off the back iron, a long, high rebound, finally grabbed by Jason Tatum with 0.3 seconds left. And then the Magic had to knock the ball away at the rim in order to secure the victory. Another just great defensive play. Derek White tried to throw the ball in from the out of bounds, on the inbounds. Magic were able to take the rebound or take the hit off the rim, knock it away, and obviously from 10th of a second doesn't take very long to run off at that point. This is a brawl. Like, this is a fight. These games, this series, have been an absolute fight. It has been a just destructive game from both teams. These are two physical defenses that want to get after each other, that want to make things hard on each other, and they have done that. They have both found success. This is a 95-93 game. The Magic won this game with 46 points in the second half. This is not 2000. This is not 2020s basketball. This is not 2010s basketball. This is 2000s and 90s basketball. If you like that kind of basketball, this is the series for you. Terrible shooting, a lot of mid-range jumpers, a lot of gritty defense, a lot of tough, gritty defense. But that's the ultimate lesson. This is who the Magic are. This is the exact kind of series they want to be. And yes, they have to improve on offense. Yes, the offense is crazy stagnant, crazy slow at times. They have to impress pace on the game, and they are not always doing it. Certainly not doing that at the level they need to compete at the highest levels. They got to do this 3 more times. And Boston, I'm sure, is feeling confident that, okay, Orlando got us on 1. We'll be ready for game 4. Orlando's going to have to be ready for a more physical battle on game 4, and they've got to be the more physical team. Everything increases in stakes as we go on, and yeah, Boston is just a really good team. Orlando is capable of winning games. They are capable of tying this series. They are capable of sending this back to Boston 2-2. But it's going to be a drag-out fight. But that's where the Magic live. For all we want to say about this team's weaknesses, what they have, what they don't have, for anything we want to say about that, this team is going to fight. They're not going to let that stop them. It may put them down. It may put them in a deficit. They may have to climb and scratch and claw their way out. But this team is going to fight through it. Franz Wagner, there's a lot to say about him. There's a lot of people saying a lot about him. I'm saying a lot about him. The guy shot 3 for 13 from 3. He missed a lot of threes. And again, make that 3 at the end of the game. We're celebrating a 5-point victory. And we don't have to sweat the final possession. That's a huge deal. That's what Tristan da Silva did back in December. This is a guy that is clearly frustrated by the shooting. I don't want to pretend that he's like accepted or happy about the shooting. But this is a guy that has struggled in a key part of his game, but is still finding ways to impact it. It's guys like Gary Harris and Anthony Black who tag team for another backcourt like defensive bonanza, forcing back-to-back turnovers in the second quarter that allowed the Magic to take the lead and gain some momentum and kind of reclaim themselves a little bit in this game. It's about all of those plays coming together. It's about all of that working for the Magic and working for who they are. I've said this a million times to a lot of people, that as much as everyone wants to think about the offseason, what this team doesn't have. And look, this series has made very, very clear what this team doesn't have and how frustrating it is that they don't have it because of how good Paolo and Franz are already at this point. We have to focus on what this team is and who this team is and make the most of this group to be successful. That's what they did in this game. They showed us the character of this group. I mentioned this at some point in the second half. Whatever the Magic do this offseason, and again, I don't want to focus too much on offseason stuff. We'll get to that in plenty of time, especially after a Game 3 win. Whatever they do, they can't lose this feistiness. They can't lose this intensity. They can't lose this resilience. The character of this team to overcome all the things they've overcome is still so huge. It's still so big. And the Magic are good enough to win a lot of games. Maybe not a series against the Celtics. We'll find out here in the next 2 to 4 games. We'll find out. But they are good enough to be competitive, and this is the core of who they are. This is why there isn't panic in this front office or this organization, because they know they do have a spark. They do have something to work with and something to build with, even after a disappointing season. They don't win this game if they aren't the Orlando Magic, if they don't play that Magic basketball. Finding that resilience, finding a way to get that last stop, to make that last play, to hold on and win a game like this with all the pressure intuitively in it. To do all of that, that tells you who this team is. And this was a character-building win for the Orlando Magic. This was a win that tells us exactly who the Magic are and why they are a team that can still be so dangerous in this series. We're going to run through the final box score. We're going to talk about Paolo's performance, Franz's performance, and why one player had the best scoreless game I think I've ever seen. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a moment. The Orlando Magic once again defeat the Boston Celtics 95-93. Series now at 2-1. We'll play Game 4 on Sunday again against the Celtics here at the Kia Center, and then Game 5 will be Tuesday. That tip time is official at 8:30. It is a 4-game day. A 4-game day. For some reason, they're putting the Magic and Celtics at 8:30. So stay up late with us. I'm going to be very tired. current plan is to go to Boston for that game, fly the day of. We will see you in Boston for Game 5 on Tuesday, and then we'll see if there's a Game 6 on Thursday at the Kia Center. But let's run through the box score, talk a little bit more about individual performances, individual players in this game. Like I said, the hero of the game was Franz Wagner. And if we didn't just talk about the two stars, and I really think that this was such a big character building win, it was about the Magic's defense as much as anything, but the Magic don't go anywhere without their stars. The reason they are here is they have two all-star level players. And, again, say what you want about how the season went, the offseason, all that stuff. The Magic are exiting this series. Honestly, this series in a lot of ways is already a huge success because now we have 3 straight games of just freaking star-making games from Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Just star-making games. Like, we knew these guys were stars. I thought that we needed to see confirmation from Paolo, just do it again, show us you can do it again. And then Franz, after such an uneven series last year against Cleveland, against a better Boston team with inconsistent shooting, he continues to just pour in points to just find ways to impact games. Franz Wagner finished with 32 points, 11 for 27 shooting, 3 for 13 from 3. You can work on that. 7 for 12 from the foul line, so he missed some free throws as well. 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. The dude was just amazing. And look, we know Franz, when he's able to get downhill, get to his spots, get those flip shots, get those little runners, even those tough middies, those tough mid-range shots, he is just unstoppable, even without a three-point shot. Even though he is not much of a threat from 3, he's willing to shoot, which I know, say what you want about the percentage, which is not good. Even with the percentage as low as it is, he is still willing to shoot, and I still think that is valuable. That keeps defenses honest because he could start hitting. He made 3 threes. The Magic will take 3 threes from any player they can get in this kind of a game. Franz continues to step up and show us what he's capable of doing and why he is such a centerpiece player for Orlando. He gets to his spots. He gets in the lane. He just creates tension in defenses. And as he continues to improve as a passer, he was so good at passing the ball, finding guys in the dunker spot, in the bodega, kicking back out for 3 when it was there. It's just so important, and he played really, really well. So did Paolo Banchero, by the way. Paolo Banchero scored 29 points, shot 10 for 25 from the floor, 2 for 4 from 3, 7 for 8 from the foul line, had 6 rebounds, 4 turnovers, the only bad mark on him. He had 13, I believe, of those 29 points in the first quarter, so carried the Magic through the early parts of the game. Really, again, looked like he was the best player on the floor. Him and Jason Tatum were just going shot for shot, and for the most part, went shot for shot in this game. He is on that level. Let's just be real. He is on that level of intensity, and we need to start treating Paolo Banchero like the superstar that he is. The rest of the league needs to start acknowledging Paolo Banchero's superstars that he is. And yes, part of that is what the Magic do this offseason to surround their 2 all-stars with easier offensive options and offensive players that they can trust in the long run. But Paolo gets to his spots. He makes those tough shots. His game was designed for the playoffs. His game was designed for when the game slows down a lot more. Possessions are more valuable. Defenses are loading up a little bit more. He's just designed to beat that. And he was just excellent all night long. He got a little tired. I felt like he wore down a little bit toward the end of the second quarter. He's playing a lot of minutes. He played 41 and a half minutes in this game. I felt like he wore down a little bit toward the end of the first half. You can kind of see him huffing and puffing, not getting to the basket as much, not taking that next level. But Paolo really, I think, did a great job just pacing the Magic through and opening the door for Franz, and then handing the ball to Franz at the end of the game and saying, hey, this is yours. Take us home. And Franz took this team home again with those 2 big shots over Kristaps Porzingis. Wendell Carter, a really nice game. 10 points, 12 rebounds. All 10 points coming in the second half. I believe all 10 points. Pretty much all of them. 3. He had 4 field goal attempts, 4 for 8 from the floor. 3 of those 4 were off of offensive rebounds. Carter has been a huge presence on the glass, and frankly, I didn't talk about Franz's defense. Franz's defense is just really good. I think Franz Wagner is a future all-defensive team player. There are not many all-stars that are 2-way players the way that Franz is. Franz is a 2-way guy. Wendell Carter also continues to be fantastic on defense. The Celtics are picking on him. The Magic are switching still a lot. They're comfortable with Wendell Carter going up against Jaylen Brown, against Jason Tatum and all those players. The Celtics are trying to pick on him a little bit because he's bigger, a little slower, may not be able to move his feet as much, but Orlando kind of doesn't mind. Carter uses his physicality well. He bumps well. He gets to a spot well. And he forces mid-range jumpers. Essentially what the Magic's defensive strategy is we're going to switch, take away those 3-pointers, force Tatum and Brown into isolations, and let them shoot mid-range jumpers. They make mid-range jumpers, so be it. Orlando's defense is very much predicated on limiting three-point attempts, and in this game, the Magic probably did their best job of the series in limiting three-point attempts. Only 27 three-point attempts for the Celtics. More than that, they had 74 field goal attempts, so 27 out of 74. If you let me pull up my calculator app here and do some math, 36.5% of their field goal attempts were threes. Boston's usually at 41, 42%. This was the first game where the Magic really did a good job limiting the three-point attempts, chasing them off the line, and giving themselves a chance to get out and run. Beyond all that, they forced 21 turnovers for 26 points. They had 18 fast break points. Orlando's offense worked really well when they got turnovers. They were able to get out in transition, kind of set up matchups the way that they wanted instead of going up against a set defense. That's when the Magic are going to be at their best in this series. Orlando really played that well in this series in a way that they did in this game in a way that they didn't in games 1 and game 2. And that's going to be a big key, I think, for game 4 is can the Magic repeat this? Boston does not turn the ball over this much ever. Jason Tatum back from the wrist injury, 36 points, 10 for 22 shooting, 4 for 10 from 3, 12 for 12 from the foul line, 9 rebounds, an excellent all-star game from Jason Tatum, but he had 7 turnovers. Jaylen Brown, 19 points, 7 for 14 shooting, solid game overall. He had 6 turnovers. 13 of the 21 turnovers coming from their 2 stars. Orlando's 2 stars only had 5. Paolo had 4 of those 5. That is just such a central battle in this series is who's turning the ball over more. Who's getting those extra possessions. This game, Orlando got the extra possessions again. That fed their offense, that allowed them to get out and run, allowed them to get some easy baskets, allowed them to play so free. Anthony Black came off the bench. Really nice game. 9 points, 3 for 8 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3. But Black was such a huge difference maker defensively. He was confident. He was confident on defense. Really got after the Celtics. Had that big sequence where he stole the ball in the backcourt for a layup and then forced an 8-second violation. Almost got another backcourt steal. Like big plays from him that again changed the game. Just very, very simple plays that changed the game. Anthony Black is a swing player in the series. When he plays well, the Magic have a chance. When he does not play well, they really struggle because of how little ball handling and how little guard play that they overall have. Like I mentioned, there was one player who had the best scoreless game that I've ever seen. It wasn't Gutavious Caldwell-Pope, although I thought he defended really well. Gary Harris, 0 for 2, both misses on threes, kind of flat, weird shots, no points. But that dude defended hard. There's a reason he closed the game. It's not just the threat of his three-point shooting, which is just a theoretical threat at this point, but it's because he is an excellent defender. The Magic really leaned on his defense, and it wouldn't surprise me if you see some more no-point guard lineups unless Drew Holiday is back on Sunday, just because the Magic operate better when they can just switch pretty cleanly defensively and really get 5 guys to get after defensively. Corey Joseph is not a bad defender, but not at the level of Gary Harris, Anthony Black. The Magic have to find ways to get their best defenders on the floor. And Jonathan Isaac, same deal. Isaac finished with 2 points on 1-for-1 shooting. That was a dunk, 3 rebounds, a steal, a block. Felt like his impact was so much greater than that. It felt like he really elevated the Magic's defense when he was in the game. This was a classic Jonathan Isaac game in a lot of ways. Again, the scoring may not be there, but the Magic's defense, top to bottom, played well. They played with so much intensity. They're going to need that again for Game 4 on Sunday. The Orlando Magic, again, defeat the Boston Celtics 95-93. They make this a 2-1 series. Game 4 Sunday here at the Kia Center. The chance to tie it heading back to Boston. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD. Subscribe to the podcast. And on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all Filming Still podcasts to your podcast enable listening device for latest on the Orlando Magic. Be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us there on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, your Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. I'll be doing some film review. I'm hoping to do some film review tomorrow. May not get to it before game 4, but there'll be some fresh content for you on the Orlando Magic Hub tomorrow after practice, especially. Go to patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. Now that you're done listening to us, make Locked On NBA Game Night your second listen of the day. Every game, every night until an NBA champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NBA Game Night on Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, don't forget, You can check out the Locked On Magic Daily newsletter. Have a chance to enter some, subscribe, and have a chance to win some awesome prizes. Go to lockedondaily.com for more information. That's good to do it for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. We'll be back after Sunday's Game 4 to recap Game 4. Until then, from the Kia Center, this has been Philip Rossman. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.